The news out of Texas keeps getting a bit worse. Um, there's now upwards of 60 people confirmed dead, men, women, children, all dead. That doesn't account for the 27 campers, children, that were washed away and they're missing, and we don't have any idea of their status. I'm sure, like a lot of people, we're fearing the worst. I'm not going to make this a lengthy thing. I'm just going to say it straight up. After MAGA, after this ugly bullshit bankruptcy bill, after Uvalde, Sandy Hook, and that school in Florida where they hid in the hallways, in the stairwell. Uvalde was the hallway. Florida was the stairwell. Um, we've devolved into a political system that doesn't give a shit about children. Just doesn't care. There literally could be 2,500 dead kids right now in Texas, and they'll make an excuse how it's not their fault. God works in mysterious ways. That's a way of saying we never cared. Thoughts and prayers. We don't care, and we're not going to do anything. Okay? They're quick to blame the shutdown of the National Weather Service's alert system. Something MAGA in Texas 1,000% supported. Okay? You support everything dear leader porn star Humper has put on the table. Everything. This Van Doren douchebag in Congress who sits and goes, we're not going to line up like little bitches. All you've done is line up like little bitches. Okay? You are the little bitches of dear leader. Okay? He pulls on your little ear and you say, yes, sir. What can I do for you? Well, how can I be racist and stupid for you? Okay. Oh, and speaking of stupid, did you see Marjorie Moron Taylor Greene's tweet that she's going to pass a law that prevents putting chemicals in the atmosphere that causes the floods like you see in Texas? She's an idiot. Okay. This wasn't chemtrails, you conspiracy nut job. You're introducing a bill to stop chemical spraying to change the weather is just another form of thoughts and prayers. God works in mysterious ways. We don't care. Literally, after Uvalde and they stood in the fucking hallway, that's not the worst part. The worst part is they hired law firm after law firm, consultancy after consultancy, until they heard the answer they wanted to hear. The people who hid in the hallway like goddamn cowards, okay? They're war heroes, according to the last Texas report. So they just shopped lawyers and consultancies and reviewers and auditors until somebody would go public with the answer they already had in their heads. We stood in the hallway. We let kids die. We're war heroes. They did nothing wrong. Go back and read that Uvalde report. Now, I can tell you what the flash flooding report is going to read in Texas. Thoughts and prayers. Jesus works in mysterious ways. Fuck you and your family. We don't care. Okay, it's somebody else's fault. Everybody in Texas was a war hero. Can't you see the war hero? There's so much war hero going on. We're nothing but war heroes. Why are you heroes in your own minds? Because you stood in a hallway. Why you literally dismantled public safety, including public safety, which includes the National Weather Service. Okay, they never got the alarms. Just like Arkansas didn't get the alarms, just like Oklahoma didn't get the alarms, just like Florida's not going to get an alarm in a hurricane or a tornado. Why? Because the body politic does not give a shit anymore. It's dog eat dog. It's every man for himself, and fuck the children. Not protect the children. Fuck them. If they can't survive a flash flood or a man with an AR-15 in a classroom, fuck them. That's the Texas law. That's MAGA law. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen about these alarms not going off and people not being able to get up to higher ground. Okay? And tell you what, if you think it's just the idiots, that's always the far right guys. No. My hometown here in California, we had a former mayor who wanted to shut down all our analog sirens. Yeah, the things that tell us something's wrong, like a forest fire or a tsunami. He wanted to shut them down. And I called him an idiot to his face for doing it, for even suggesting it. I said, you don't need a phone, you don't need a radio, you don't need a TV. All you need is a set of fucking ears. And if you're deaf, the person beside you can tell you the horn's going off. Okay? I've been in Hawaii when the horn went off. Okay? You get your ass to higher ground. Okay? They went around the world for 20 years in the global war on terror, lost to goat herders. Now they want to take away weather alerts from you because you're not good enough Americans. We need a war on U.S. soil. So we're going to invade Main Street while we shut off their tornado and the weather sirens and the tsunami sirens. Okay? We live in an insane, completely. If you'd have asked me 5, 10 years ago that like this is where we would end up, I would have said no, man. I mean, it's always going to be goofy. I've been a wonk for decades. I've been watching this shit since easy rated. I mean, like reading books, reading the Wall Street Journal. Hell, I used to read the Wall Street Journal on midnight shift when I used to work patrol. And that was a long, long time ago. Okay. I've been watching how they've screwed over this country left, right, and center. Okay. But now they're the death cult that's fully formed. Okay. The only law enforcement you're going to get is Stasi hit squads and goon squads. The only public service you're going to get is an ICE raid, not a warning siren at a summer camp for little girls. We gotta protect the children. Oh, their mantra for 40 fucking years. How did you protect these kids in Texas? You didn't even give them a fair shot to escape. And you did the same thing in Oklahoma. You did the same thing in Arkansas. And you will do the same thing in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas. You don't give a shit. You're evil to the goddamn core. Everybody is on their own. And then when something happens, you pull the big Texas switch. Again, you hire the law firm. They don't want to say you're heroes and you did everything correct. You hire another law firm. Government, especially Texas and Washington, never has done anything wrong in the history of the universe. Okay? They're perfect actors in a perfect world in their head. And we have to protect the children, and we have to have family values and the sanctity of marriage. Yeah, that's why you hired a guy with more baby mamas than the fucking NBA, including managers, coaches, and ownership. This shit is completely out of control. People will suffer. People will get hurt. People will die. Children will die. Pregnant mothers will die. And they're completely okay with that. That's a win in their book. We have to make a decision like right now. What are you going to do locally? What are you going to do on the internet and social media, regionally and nationally, to communicate that we can be a better society? We can have better governance than the horse shit that's being delivered right now. A government now who says we spent 15 to 20 trillion dollars roaming the globe to lose wars to goat herders. So now we're going to come back and start a war in Main Street and take away everything from you, including the fucking emergency sirens. What are the emergency sirens in the backup data systems in the offices? I mean, in the size of our budget, what are we talking about? 0.003% of the federal budget? Oh, we can't spend that. Well, kids are going to get washed away in flash floods if you don't give them a warning. Jesus works in mysterious ways. We didn't do anything wrong. And it's not like I'm naive. I was in the military and the paramilitary for 14 years of my life. Okay? Weird shit happens. People get hurt and killed. I understand that. Okay? But now we're talking about they're doing shit that's getting people hurt in preventable circumstances. You literally can't staff the National Weather Service. That breaks the national bank, not the failed war in Iraq. The failed war in Iraq was a bargain, and somehow National Weather Service is an overspend? Bullshit. Bullshit. You're going to spend multiples of the National Weather Service on ICE expansion alone. Okay? Will ICE ever do anything to protect the little children? No, they're deporting 2-year-olds with cancer who are US citizens. The whole point, and people better buck up. I mean, it's an ugly point to bring up and it's going to start some arguments. But when someone says, oh, we're doing the right thing, call bullshit. Call bullshit. The right thing is not dismantling the FBI to have a Stasi law enforcement system in ICE that literally goes around just to fuck with people. Okay? Yes, it is a crime if you get deported. Remember, I worked in Monterey County, California, the most immigrant dense population and probably anywhere in America. Okay? I know for a fact because we caught a few. If you get deported and you come back and you commit a crime, now your presence here is also a crime. But if you just came over here and you don't have your paperwork together, that's a tort. That's a civil process with the federal government. Okay? That's not a crime. But now we're going to take torts and make them crimes and enforce them like they're serial killers. Did you see the video of ICE walking up with the door frame bomb? Like it was Afghanistan and they're going after bin Laden? This guy's here without the proper paperwork. They detonated the door off the building. Boom! Okay? The war is coming to Main Street. To pay for the Main Street war, they will literally kill your kids. They will literally destroy neighborhoods. They will arrest innocent people. And that's a point that's always bugged me. Again, 14 years, including working for Army, MP, MPI, and CID. Okay? I've worked on 2 continents in the drug war. One of the things I never wanted to do, either in the Army or as a civilian peace officer, was arrest an innocent person. Because what the fuck does that do? The real criminals still walk in the street. You arrest the wrong guy for rape, you arrest some random black guy because you think he's a rapist with no evidence, the real rapist is still walking the street. Okay? But now this has been cemented into anger and grievance policies. Okay? Since Dear Leader Pornstar Humper is so aggrieved, he has all these grievances to list up and present to everybody. He's mad at everything. He's mad at everything except the people who literally are attached to his left nut. He loves them for 10 minutes, then he throws them away too. Like wives. Okay? And some kids. So I'm horrified there are so many people hurt down in Texas. I'm also horrified that Texas is already in CYA mode. We didn't do anything wrong. This is the NWS's problem. You holistically support 100% Trump and his agenda, which included defunding the weather service, shutting down the alarms, and turning off the sirens. Okay? If you get a war on the border, okay, because that's a great distraction from your energy grid, your corruption, the stock trading charges that were against Paxton for 7 years. Hey, a border war is a great political distraction. I got to give that. It's a better distraction than Bubba Clinton throwing missiles into a baby food factory in Somalia and claiming it was terrorism. But it's a damn good distraction. But it's only a distraction. Okay. You agree with what he's doing across the board. So when he shut down the National Weather Service and sent the workers home and fired them and shut down the offices and shut down the sirens, you were fine with this. We were sitting here telling you, don't shut down this shit. You'll be sorry. Again, it was 15 years ago right here in my town. The fucking fucktarded mayor. I'm going to shut down the sirens to save the city money. I go, you want to save the city money? Sell your fucking police tank, douchebag, and stop getting sued for misconduct and false arrest. That will save us a ton of money. The sirens, not so much. Okay? And if you think the sirens are fucked up because they're such a penty ante, I mean, this is such small change. This is literally pennies and nickels budgeting. No, 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 no. Bank bailouts that cost $12 trillion, a number recited by both Barney Franks and Ron Paul, $12 trillion. That's what the bank bailouts cost us. Okay. $12 trillion for a bank bailout? No problem. $15 trillion for a global war where we lose? And every security report every quarter comes out and says we're in worse of a security position than we were last quarter? 15 trillion there. No problem. A couple of tens of millions to keep the weather sirens hot and trained engineers and scientists monitoring the weather data. Okay, you got to remember, we live in a country with a place like Moore, Oklahoma. Since 1990, it's been wiped out 3 times by tornadoes. And you want to shut off the fucking sirens. Are you stupid? The sirens aren't our budget problem. Our budget problem is actually a revenue problem. Since Reagan, you've sold away the goddamn farm to your campaign donors, the bankers, and defense contractors. Now you got private equity and direct billionaires who are now part of the government. Not just Elon Musk, his entire cabinet is billionaires. And they're literally making decisions that literally put money in their own pockets. And how are they going to put that money in their own pockets? By killing your kids at a summer camp because they were too fucking cheap to staff the goddamn office at the weather service and set the alarm off and sound the sirens. How ridiculous is this? And the fact that I know where this is going because it happened after Uvalde. No matter what happens here, Texas is heroes. Of course we're heroes. We have never done anything wrong. We're nothing but heroes. Even when we stand in the hallway like fucking cowards, we're heroes. Even when our energy grid fails in the middle of winter and you charge retired military veterans for electricity for 3 days. This is an E7 retired. I read this in the Texas Tribune. E7 retired. They don't make a lot of money. Okay. 3 days of electricity off in the Texas casino grid system cost them $13,000. No electricity and a $13,000 bill. A bill. Are you getting the con yet, America? Are you getting the con yet, Texas? Okay. Oh, how did they fix their grid? By spending a lot of Biden's infrastructure bill money and also installing a few solar panels and a few grid batteries and a few other things that they say, causes cancer and doesn't work and da 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 da. Okay. What doesn't work in this country is not governing. What doesn't work in this country is not spending on the money on the things we actually need, like emergency sirens. To give dear leader porn star Humper, his cabinet, and Elon Musk, and a bunch of campaign donors a tax break. They shut off the fucking sirens. They shut down the weather service offices. Now, dozens of kids are missing. I hate to say this, probably presumed dead. How the hell is this governance? Or and you know, at the end of this, going to say, well, you know, God works in mysterious ways. It can't be that climate change. Oh, I'm not a climate scientist. I don't know if this storm was directly involved or not. But over time, as we introduce more and more energy into the system we call our atmosphere, we're going to have bigger weather problems. I think climate change and global warming are both stupid terms, but physics and science has a bunch of stupid terms. It's like it's like quantum color dynamics. Red, green, blue. There is no red, green, blue at the quantum scale. That doesn't exist. But we labeled it red, green, blue. Now people think there's actually red, green, and blue quarks flying around in the universe. There's not. Okay, we label things screwy all the time. Global warming was a stupid term. If I would have named it, I would have named it global disruption. Okay, because everything's going to be disrupted. Winters are going to be disrupted. Summers are going to be disrupted. Hurricane season, tornadoes, shipping, aircraft, you name it. As the more and more turbulence and more energy, the more and more. What is a hurricane on planet Earth? It's the Earth cooling itself. What are they going to do when we have a season in Florida where they hit 3, 4, 5 times in one season? It doesn't have to be category 5s. The studies showed that. 3 category 3s bring enough water where it's going to take you years to recover. Okay. What are they doing? They're not just denying that we're screwing with the atmosphere because of our energy use and policies. They're not just denying what we call climate change, climate disruption in my mind. They're denying the service itself. They're going to go, since we don't believe in this, let's shut down the weather service. Let's shut down those sirens. It's all a conspiracy theory. It's all woke. What is woke? Anything they don't like. They won't define it. I've asked. I asked in a bar a couple months ago. This dude was giving me shit at the bar. Okay. I think we were talking about Taylor Swift and why you would start picking on a little girl that's strumming a guitar. What does that prove? Big tough guys. She's a singer with a guitar. What's the fucking problem? Okay. So he starts on me. And I'm like, okay, you guys have a pattern. You guys have a group think. And it's only getting worse the further we go down this trek. And it's bad. Because if you don't believe in X, you must eliminate Y and Z. I don't believe in science anymore. Women's healthcare, climate change, crop rotation, probably. They don't believe in vaccines anymore. Because remember, they said they were just going to get rid of that nasty COVID vaccine that was put forward too quickly. We don't trust it. Now it is a complete upending of our entire healthcare system, including a recommendation that says don't get your vaccines. Okay. I don't believe in science, so everything downstream has to be eliminated under the guise I'm going to save you money. Okay. I guarantee you that this Texas storm cost billions of dollars. Okay. I guess when you count up all the dead, which is now almost 60 people confirmed dead, plus a whole bunch of people injured, plus the missing camping girls. Okay. You're talking about real harm, real economic harm. The parent is wiped out in this flood. There's no money for the family. Oh, what'd you just do? You canceled food stamps. You canceled social assistance. You canceled Medicare for orphans that get their health care because their parents are gone. You're taking the whole country apart. And now that people are dying, you just do this. Oh, it's that guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. Oh, it's that guy's fault. Oh, it must be this thing's fault. It's woke. Again, whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. Okay. What? Knowing history is a crime? Yeah, I know our American history is full of turbulence and wrongs that need to be corrected. If you're trying to hide that, then what MAGA has turned into is a new form of the conservative citizens councils of the 1950s, which were just the suit and tie versions of the Ku Klux Klan. Okay. The CCCs no longer want the city councils and the county supervisor seats. They want to be presidents and senators. And to punish you for not being a good enough Christian, because you're not a good Christian, like Dear Leader Porn Star Humper. He fucked Stormy Daniels and raped that girl in the fucking department store dressing room. He's the good Christian, not you. They are going to deconstruct America. This is the deconstruction of America. People have to be ready for this. Okay. This last bill eliminates rural education and rural healthcare in most public services and definitely public health. Because not only did they get the bill they wanted to destroy everything they wanted, they went to the Supreme Court and says the states now can take away money for non-abortion services at Planned Parenthood. So if you need an SDG check, a cancer screening, like one of 40, 50 other services they offer, men and women, by the way, you don't have any services. So you don't have healthcare, you don't have Medicare, you don't have food, you don't have a proper school, you're being laid off from your factory, you're being laid off from your government job. There's going to be no rural hospitals, nor rural clinics, nor private clinics, because we're going to force those out of business because excuse ABC. Okay, this is the destruction of America. What's happening in Texas is just a small insight into where this country and where this society is going. Operate a network of severe weather sirens for a few $1 million a year, or hand away $4 trillion to people who are already so rich the economy doesn't matter to them. We're giving away the money to people instead of taking care of people. Even taking care of the things that continue businesses going forward. Because I've been around long enough, I remember where the business mantra was it. It was all about business. Well, you can't have a business during a flash flood you didn't see coming. Okay? You don't have these public services. You don't maintain the roads and the highways. You don't do other things that require the public support. Then businesses cannot operate the way they do today. And if you add, I suggest you go watch Peter Zion on YouTube when he talks about deglobalization. You take deglobalization where the shipping around the world on the oceans isn't going to be the same. We're pulling back. There's going to be no U.S. Navy and British Navy and Australian Navy to guard the waters anymore. We're giving up on that too. So the boat can get here, the boat cannot get here. Fuck it. They don't care. Okay? There could be a rural hospital. There could be a rural school. If there's not, fuck it. They don't care. We saved ourselves a dime. Now realize that people in Elon Musk, this was dumped years ago. Okay? He pays between 1% and 4%, rough numbers. Okay? I went back and I looked at my taxes for one of my essays recently. Okay? I pay over 40%. I'm not a billionaire. How the hell am I paying 20 times the tax? A multiple of 20 of the tax that the people who are grousing the loudest saying they're overtaxed. You're paying 1% and you're overtaxed? There has been years where the largest, most profitable corporations in the country paid 0%. And there was one year that I looked up, General Electric got a tax refund. But there won't be any food for poor people. There won't be any Meals on Wheels for seniors, especially disabled seniors. There won't be any nursing homes. Add no nursing homes in rural America, because rural America is getting decimated first. You're a cost center. You're not a profit center. Okay. I've never had a problem giving money to rural Kansas or rural Iowa, rural Indiana for schools. Because you either give them money for schools or you have a generation of stupid kids. And then they grow up and become MAGA. Okay. So I've always been pro education. No nursing homes, no schools, no hospitals, no weather sirens. No cops that want to investigate rapes. We're going through our third round of rape kits sitting on the shelf rotting instead of being tested at the lab. Why? Because the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, the DEA, everybody now is immigration enforcement officers. Entire FBI offices have been taken off criminal cases and sent to chase fucking Jorge through a goddamn lettuce field. Oh, and now nobody's showing up to the lettuce fields here in Salinas. Yeah, I've read reports in several farming community newspapers. Up to 70% of the working staff are not showing up anymore. That means food shortages, folks. There's no other place to get fucking lettuce. Okay? It's Salinas, California, and Imperial County, California. That's where you get your damn lettuce. You want to go to McDonald's? You want to go to In-N-Out? You want to go to Bob's Big Boy? Don't ask for fucking lettuce and tomato, idiot, unless you grew them yourself. Now, the strange part comes in here. I'm going to get off the kids for a second because it's so upsetting. I want to talk about the aftermath of all this shit. Everything from what are the elected sheriffs in this country going to do when some proud brat, proud baby Goomba in his battle jammy shows up at the sheriff's office and tells him, you now work for me because I work for dear leader. How's that going to sit with your right-wing sheriffs all over the county? Including here, by the way. Oh, we got some real right-wingers. And a couple of former sheriffs who were right-wingers who are now in prison. Yeah, true story. There is a crime wave. It's inside the sheriff's apartments in California right now. Big problem. Big problem. So in the aftermath here, how do Republicans think they're going to get elected in the midterms when they literally close every nursing home, school, clinic, and hospital in every rural state? When I say rural, you all know what I really mean. Red. You're going to get reelected after you tell people they're going to have no services because the ketamine addict who freaks out during White House meetings. Oh, shit, I'm having a beer and smoking a bowl. I'm fucking lucid. Fucking the ketamine king is fucking sitting in the. And then Teal's interview, he was doing, I think, the same thing. He seemed a little whacked out on something a hell of a lot more than beer and weed. And I don't care what you do, just don't act like an ass in public, which ketamine prince can't stop doing. So what are they going to do? I mean, this is a serious question. What are they going to do? Are they literally going to start canceling elections because they know they can't win? Are they literally going to put troops in the street and say, "Oh, we're not allowing you to vote"? Well, we don't want you in power anymore. We're going to vote up. We're going to vote for the other guys and the other gals. Okay, and probably a few queer folk that you don't like, just because it's a thumb in your eye and you're a dick. Sure, we're going to vote for other people. Are you literally going to shut down the elections and close the voting places with armed troops? Whatever happens going forward, don't allow them to claim any innocence over Texas. This wasn't just a severe random weather event. This was failure of policy. Yes, the primary variable was the severe weather. Yes. Another big variable in the equation is the bullshit budget, the closing Doge, closing government agencies we frickin' need. We need as communities and we need as businesses. Yeah, the business thing's important to me. I've ran my own business now for 26 years. Okay. It's just a sole proprietorship, a consultancy, but hey, it's mine and I make my money and I get to most of the time be my own boss. It's pretty cool. But I can't do business if there's no infrastructure. And if infrastructure gets wiped out, okay, How do we go to work? Did the red hat wearers think of any of this? Did they have any clue? What happens when you dismantle society itself and all you've got is a part-time job that doesn't even pay your rent? No healthcare, no nursing homes, no schools for your kids, no hospital for you or your parents, no nursing homes for your great aunts and your great parents and your grandparents. Nothing. Nothing. That's where we're heading. Okay. And what the storm in Texas proves out is there'll be one hell of an immoral, unethical death toll during this debacle that's been set up by the nationalists. Whatever you do, please keep talking out. Don't let people in your family or at bars or at cocktail parties or I don't care where. I stand up for what I believe in, and I tell them right out of the bag, hey, may not be a liberal guy. I'm a way back old like Republican, probably now closer to a groovy libertarian, center left libertarian. But right now, I don't agree with you assholes. I don't agree with you assholes almost across the board. Okay, so speak up. It's worth it. America's worth it. Yes, we're in troubled times right now because we have an idiot wannabe king and a bunch of drug addicts and degenerates and Nazis as his cabinet and advisors. But that doesn't mean you've lost your ability to speak. Okay? Write a letter to your congressman. Get on the phone to the switch bank at the Capitol building in Washington or your state house. Okay? Go to a protest. Yeah. My old ass is probably going to end up going to a protest soon. And I'll be standing next to my liberal neighbors going, yeah, let's do what he said. Because I don't want to do what these Nazi, insane, evil, careless, mean, destructive, idiocracy we've elected in. So stay strong, stay resilient, never give up, never surrender. Okay? Keep up fighting. This has to go down at some time. Okay? Unfortunately, Texas took one hell of a hit here, and I feel so bad for those families. But I'm also already worried about the next set of families harmed by bad policy. Until next time, think about it.